two that might land on this video. This is part of a series of videos going back that would lead up to and provide a context for the statements that I'm attempting with this. But what I wanted to say is that I sound a little bit pretentious when I say that I'm attempting like this. But I am attempting to make some a little bit daring and bold statements publicly on a digital platform. So that takes a little bit of daring, but also skill to pull it off tactfully and tastefully. But what I was saying is that according to the order Osho, there's significance about twins, and that might be overlooked a lot. A vast significance, both fraternal and identical twins, but I'm more so referencing identical twins. That actually might be some of how you actually might need. So that might be some of how humans actually how reproduction works is actually more so a function of twinning rather than offspring. It is terms of like livestock and like breeding, like and studying and stuff like that. Are you not something of a twin of your parent? So you see a child that favors their parent that much. Are they not something of a twin of their parent to be that identical to them? Are you not your parent's identical twin? But not just limited, but also unlimited. So you're actually all of your parents. You're actually multiple twins because life is not limited. You're multiple twins of your parents and your different ancestors combined and coalesced and rehashed in the greatest of ways. Yet nothing of the input was lost in that combination. So you're nothing less. So that you have two parents, you're nothing less of one of your parent for having the other parent. Yet you're also greater for the other parent, but nothing less of any one parent for the other parent. So you're yet both twins at once, two at once. Is that not what a human being is? Two at once. It's interesting because how could you have the first? How could you have? So what came first? The man, the woman, or the child? That's actually a deeper paradox than it might seem, because you would need a woman to give birth to a man, but you would need a man to impregnate a woman, and you would need a child to become a man or a woman. So it's a little bit of a paradox. Is what came first the other? And that actually might be more so of a limitation of our linear thinking. Is that how could something exist as existence in a linear fashion? Existence may in fact be impossible. Existence is not impossible as sure as we are experiencing existence, but it may be impossible along the linear lines that we think, even also the cycles that we think, because we more so think of things imperfect. We actually are some of our idealism. So we project a lot of what we are into our concepts of other people and even things that we can't grasp. That's called anthropomorphization. One function of anthropomorphizing, I might not be pronouncing that entirely exactly. That's like anthropo would be like a human being, like primate, a human being, but to project that onto different things, be that even other animals or something profound. We project a lot in life. A lot of people that we have a problem with, we project on them. So maybe some of my actual shortcomings or frustration with my own family members as being privileged entitlement, if I'm being honest, it might be a function of my own degree of privilege and entitlement that we either both share, or we reflect onto one another, or we project on one another, or amplify on one another. That is possible. But we project that things are perfect and ideal, but also completely straight or completely linear. That might be some of the shortcoming of things that are man-made. It's just that we have an idea that there can be and had been a straight line or a perfect circle, yet that has not been borne out mathematically. It's appreciated. But that might be what's difficult to so what came first, the chicken or the egg? There had not been a first, is what came first. Might be what came first. And so also things don't necessarily proceed in a forward straight motion, not even what we understand as time. We as a reference, we think of things as a linear, but people are like, man, how could that be so long? So I had a person when I was near about 30. This person was seasoned, and I was at a job where I'm at, and was like, I'd seen them after a couple years of not being there, about at least about 3.5, almost 4 years of not working together. I saw him at the same job where I left him, and he was already 6 years advanced, and he was a seasoned, smooth guy. I come up from he's a smooth guy, so he was like, man, it's a blessing to have some years on you, man. That means you're getting wiser, man. That was a beautiful thing he could have said to someone turning 30. But I actually bumped into him today. I think today, yeah. And now I'm closing in on my 4th decade. So that had been appreciably 10 years in time. Now, we can appreciate a lot of water has transversed the different waterways where I'm at since that took place. And there has been a lot of experience in lessons and shortcomings, but it feels as though that were not only yesterday, but that they were actually today that I was saying that to him. And some people, you experience them in the dynamic between you as though there had not been what is called time to elapse. There has been lessons and cycles, but nothing of time has passed. But so if I'm on 4 and he's about 6 years, that means he's closing in on less than 5 years to 50. And we had just been young men working together at this job. He's still at that job, and like I would imagine he has like some rank and even a high pay grade to hold something down that long. Because we're now talking about that was 12 years ago. We were working together, and he was already ranking veteran at that time. So that's a lot of time. That's near about appreciably 20 years at one job, maybe entry level, but then working up to management and staying there for a long time, like a jack of all trades in one particular job and staying there. That's incredible. But things really move. But that might be why a lot of people are confounded by how is that only today that today was that, is because things don't necessarily proceed in a straight linear fashion or in any fashion at all, unless we more so project and overlay a sense of a linear progression. One of the brutalities of modern society, entitlement. You go to any seat of entitlement that you can think of, a coffee shop, a college campus, a coffee shop that's patronized by campus students or worked at by former campus students, entitled, and see how much they don't reference time on there. Oh, I have to be done by 2 o'clock. Literally by 3:30, and but they reference time a lot in like around entitlement. But I think that's actually because something of the conditioning of a clock is part of the matrix. I'm sorry, of the beast of production, all the way back to industrialism and prior. It's a clock attends wage slavery. That is slavery. That is, a clock attends slavery. Entitlement, privilege attends slavery. The rank and file crew, the rank and file manual labor might be one end of a spectrum, and entitlement, privilege, higher education, learning, ivory tower might be another form. Both are heavily preoccupied with the time and the clock, and you'll hear a lot of that in any place of entitlement and privilege and advantage. But so I a little bit digress with that. But what I wanted to say is that Osho references that twinning is very significant, and they've done like mean-spirited tests to test the actual connection between twins. And so one time when I was actually looking to get training of I was actually approaching training like up to and including on a college campus for like militant training. And when I was actually making real moves to do that, my mother, I talked to my mother after doing so, and she said that she had a bad feeling today. I don't know why, but I just had a bad feeling today. She said that like that. As I was entertaining a military lifestyle, I didn't choose that path professionally, but that's actually what I was entertaining that day, that she had a bad feeling. Was that my mother having a bad feeling about something I was doing, or my twin having a bad feeling about something that I was doing? As Osho said, that they were doing these mean-spirited tests on twins across distances to injure a twin or potentially injure a twin, and how would that affect the other twin that is the parent? That was true in real life for me before I had come across Osho. But what I wanted to say is that actually might be something of what it is to reproduce ourselves. Is something of a twin. And the times that there's actually two twins born might be a special circumstance where they were actually both incarnate in physical form. But it could stand to reason that we would have one there's us and something of us that we can't perceive, that may be yet all the way up to and including another version of us as a guardian angel, as a twin, as ourself in our own midst. So your higher mind, your higher consciousness, your higher understanding, is that not also your twin in sublime, subtle aspect, and maybe you carrying the weight of the physical, but also them if you go through pain with you. But that's significant there.